Hey everyone. So I just wanted to do a quick kind of recorded lecture concerning the federal requirements to be compliant for online courses. This component to online courses is really important. We need to make sure as instructors that we are presenting our course as a distance education or an online course versus a correspondence course. So the reason behind that is if we say that we have a distance education or online course, and in fact we're treating it as a correspondence course, we are not in compliance with federal regulations, and Western Dakota Tech has potential to lose federal funding. Um, with At this point, we've kind of gone over the difference between online versus correspondence versus hybrid or flipped classrooms. So if there's any questions concerning that, just let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to kind of move forward um, talking about how we can make sure that we are compliant with all of those federal regulations. So hopefully you guys have all read through this document. I'm just going to kind of skim over it real quick. So the first thing is, of course, with these distance education classes, we have regular and substantive interaction between faculty and students, and also students to students. So the students to student interaction isn't necessarily a federal requirement, but it is a WDT requirement. So when your courses are being evaluated or reviewed to make sure that they're in compliance, that is a component that Western Dakota Tech will look for. So faculty initiated means that we are guiding the course. We are setting up the flow of the course and how the learning modules are going to work together, how we can achieve that interaction between ourselves and the students, and then the students and students as well. So again, that must be regular and substantive. So at least once a week, I would say, or a couple times a week. I personally I just blast out a group email every week when I open up a module. And then I'll do one more if they have a big assignment coming up. So like an exam or something like that, I'll just say, hey, a quick reminder, you have this exam due. Let me know if there's any questions, that sort of thing. So with the regular interaction, we're kind of in this section here. It is WDT policy, and this isn't just in online courses, this is across the board with on-campus courses as well. But we are to respond to any inquiries from the students, whether it's email, phone call, whatever the method may be. We have 24 hours on weekdays to respond to those student correspondences. That excludes weekends and holidays or any time that there isn't classes being held or we're not on campus. And then we also have a minimum of 72 hours, excluding weekends and holidays, to grade and return assignments. So that is, and I make sure that I tell my students this too, because otherwise they kind of get a little anxious. It's 72 hours after the due date. So if an assignment is open for a week and they submit it the first day that it opens, you don't have to try to keep up on everything that's coming in. That can get a little overwhelming. It's Once the due date passes, we have 72 hours to grade and return. The substantive interaction portion of this is where it can get a little bit confusing. So I always just tell the students that in order to be counted as present, they have to engage in the course academically. If they send me an email that says, I missed assignment 1, and that's it, they just are letting me basically know that they missed it, I don't count that as academic in nature. If they say, I missed this assignment, what can I do to make it up? What was the material? That sort of thing, then they're seeking that academic knowledge, and I consider that substantive. The other thing from our point of view that's really important is how we give feedback. So if somebody turns in a paper and they do outstanding, 100%, we're in a hurry, we just put an A into the grade book and don't give that student anything back. That's not considered a substantive interaction on our part. We are not providing the student with any feedback, good or bad, to help them continue with their education. So the part that gets a little tricky with this is testing, because a lot of us use multiple choice questions, and if we're in the classroom and on campus, we don't have to go in and comment on each person's um, tests, but online we do. So the way that I kind of help myself remember that I need to provide that feedback is by having them do at least one short answer on their big exams. So the way that I set up my courses, like my anatomy and physiology, is they have a multiple choice assignment for each chapter, and then a review question assignment for each chapter. And there's about 2 or 3 chapters per module, and then they have an exam over the module. So I put some short answer questions in that exam, so then I have to grade them manually, and I can type in feedback. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, just a quick, really looks like you understood this point, excellent job on this, maybe review this page, whatever it is, just so we're giving them the feedback that they need. It can get a little time consuming grading, but I'll show you some tricks to making it go quicker. In the next couple weeks, we'll go over that. Academic discussions, so whether you use a discussion board or VoiceThread, whatever it may be, is a really good way to get that interaction in. We are also going to start using a platform called Turnitin, which is a way for students to submit written assignments. I haven't actually used it yet, but I'm going to do some training here shortly, and I'll keep you guys updated. But it makes it, from what I understand, super quick, super easy to do that feedback and grading using the platform. So again, I'll let you know once I get going in that. The other thing with this, and I'll talk about it, well, we'll just talk about it now. So what you'll see in a lot of online courses is an introduction discussion forum, which is perfectly fine. However, if the student only states age, how many kids they have, how many pets they have, their favorite color, that sort of thing, that's not really academic in nature. So when you're setting up your initial introduction discussion, make sure that you include some sort of comment in there about, what are you looking forward to learning from this course? What's one area that you'd like to focus on? Whatever it may be, just so that you get some of that course content in there. And then you can count that as an academic interaction. So again, peer-to-peer interaction has to take place, Western Dakota Tech policy. Same thing, anything that gets the students talking about the course content, not necessarily their weekend or what they did over the summer or whatever, as long as they're talking about course content, that will meet that requirement. And the big thing is, when you're setting these up, is to think about if somebody from the outside who didn't have any clue, about how we really do things, I guess, if they were to come in and look at your course, would they be able to see that faculty initiated, regular, and substantive interaction? We kind of set the foundation for this with the syllabus, provides the expectations of what we're going to expect from the students in the course, the content that they can look forward to, that sort of thing. We also have to save all email correspondences. So I just create a little subfolder that says online courses, and then I make another subfolder. It's a lot of subfolders, but anyways, for each class that I'm teaching. And then I save, as soon as I read it and respond, I move the emails over to that, and then you can download them and save them to a different folder. This document that I put out there, it hasn't been updated yet, so it still talks about Blackboard courses. not Western Code Tech, MyWDT or Genzabar does not really have this feedback tool option. It does on exams and stuff like that, but the papers part of it is a little bit tricky. It doesn't let you actually like comment on the paper and that sort of thing. There is one section at the top of the page for feedback, and it just says feedback comment to student. So that would be somewhere that you can put your, your comments or whatever to the student. And I'll be sure to check out the how-to video this week, and I'll show you where that feedback tool is. Otherwise, like for papers and stuff like that, I download them as a Word document, which hopefully turn it in when we start using that will completely ease this process. But I download it, type in any comments, save it as a PDF, and then upload it back to the student, which is an option as well. Okay, last but not least is attendance tracking requirements. So attendance on online classes is a little bit weird. So for the first 10 days, so until we get to our census day, attendance is taken daily. So you have to be pretty clear with the students, and even if you're crystal clear, there will be some who panic because they have absences in the system. If they're not expected to engage daily because that's kind of a lot to take on. But attendance has to be taken daily. So I just tell them it's part of the process. It's not counted against them. Once we get past that census day mark, then attendance is taken every Wednesday each week. So I just create a little like reminder in my calendar, 8 a.m. Wednesday morning, do attendance. The only thing is if somebody, it's kind of up to you how you set it up, but if somebody then goes in at 10 a.m. and submits an assignment on that Wednesday, then you would have to update their attendance record. So I do attendance on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, I just go back and look and see if anybody submitted assignments after I did attendance, and then you can just update their attendance record. Again, they have to engage in an academic nature. If they email you something totally random, say they know you like the Chicago Bulls, and they say, "Oh yeah, did you see that game?" Well, they're interacting with you, but it's not academic, so it wouldn't count as an attendance. I don't know where Chicago Bulls just came from. It was the first team that popped into my mind. Let's see. The other thing is to still have set office hours for the students. So I set up a Skype account, which I believe we're getting Skype for Business. So it'll be really easy to set that up now once that takes place. But I just say, these are my available office hours. I'll be logged into Skype during this time, and then I just make sure I have my Skype up and running. At this point, nobody's taken advantage of that, but it's good to have that option out there in case you do have that one student that wants to interact with you. Otherwise, I just say available by email at any time. With the online classes, we do have to have the same availability that we do to our on-campus courses, our face-to-face courses. So, if it's a 2-credit class that you're teaching online, it would be the same amount of time that you would give a 2-credit on-campus class. See. I think that's everything as far as federal compliance. If you're reading through this and anything seems weird, or if you have any questions about it, just let me know. There is normally training done in the fall as well, so you'll see this again. And it will be updated once we get rid of the Blackboard portion of it to reflect our change to MyWDT. So again, if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks, guys.